real uh, uh, that's a problem with a lot of people. They really wanted to understand and then really get the behavior change. So this is a kind of a conversation about the change, real lasting change. If you have ever set a New Year resolution only to watch it dissolve by February, you are not alone. But here is the truth, it is not a motivational problem. Because you are motivated, you made the resolution, right? It's not a character failure. A lot of people, there's a character flaw. No, it's not. It's a conditioning problem. See, you allow yourself to be conditioned by whatever behavior that you have developed, like you are smoking or drinking alcohol, or you are putting a lot of weight, or you are having anger problems and not able to control any number of things, right? So your willpower is fighting against your yesterday's training, against the pattern your body and mind have practiced thousands of times, unknowingly, unconsciously, probably. Today, we are going to explore why this happens and, more importantly, how to work with your inner nature instead of against it. Okay? So, we were going to take a journey together. In that journey, we are going to explore the real reason resolutions fail and anatomy of that conditioning and understanding the elephant principle. I am going to bring in to impress on you what is it, and then retraining your system, and then my proactive wellness daily rhythm, which will help you to establish in anything that you want to change and go towards it much easier. And then it's a practice and your 7-day plan that I'm going to give to you. Just use it. Okay. See, a familiar pattern is January 1st carols in, and people say, oh, I have big intentions. I have really visualized what I want to be, and this year will be different, right? And then week two, then friction is noticed because fatigue comes in because you are fighting against your own self. Say the new behavior that you want to enforce, the feeling hard, it's not coming on quickly. Old habits are quietly returning, and then familiar patterns feel easier. That's why you go back to smoking, whatever you are doing to build up the weight and everything, right? Um, so it's a question of understanding that, right? And then the result is you feel guilt. You feel you judge yourself and say, I'm not good enough, I failed again, and low self-esteem and all. So then the question, what's wrong with me, why I'm doing this like that? Okay, that kind of thing happens. So you did not fail. What it is your conditioning gained its hand back. It won because it was trained longer. Remember that word, trained longer. Okay, so if you pause here and breathe, if you are nodding in recognition, you are in the right place. The pattern isn't a personal defect, it's how the system behaves when it hasn't been retrained. And retraining is exactly what we are here to explore. Okay. A lot of people don't know how to go back to the training themselves and retrain the old behavior into the new one. See, when you make the resolutions, they are intellectual, right? You thought about it, you considered it, and then you want to place it like, oh, this is what I wanted to change. And the body mind, they run on autopilot. They have their own intelligence, but your intellect may have made a decision without consulting them, and that's why they kind of come back and say they rebel, right? So when the body and mind are on autopilot all your life, and you cannot take it away from them. Say that unconscious repetition that has been going on, which you allowed it for all this life, because you are not consciously living. You are allowing the habits to develop, and then they run on the autopilot. That unconscious repetition, that is the one which wins because it's so strong. Okay. When conscious intention meets the unconscious conditioning, repetition is almost always stronger. Okay, that's why you have to understand the conscious intervention. Change is not argued into existence, it is trained into reality. Okay, this is the thesis of everything we will explore today. The body and the mind have their own conditioning, their own deeply grooved pathways. That is the important thing to understand. Deeply grooved pathways happens because you thought about the same thing or repeated behavior the same thing again and again and again, so that your cortical pathways are concretized. So they don't respond to intellectual resolution because they come and go, intellectual resolutions. So they respond to patient, consistent retraining. When you understand this, everything shifts. You're going to retrain. You're not going to fall back into unconscious habits. You're going to be conscious about it. And a good example cited in the ancient wisdom is the elephant. See, some cultures, elephant trainers begin the working with the magnificent animals ever since they are very small, very babies, right? And then they train them so much when they become huge, big animals, fully grown, they just follow the training, and it's much easier for the person to drive the elephant. Our bodies are like elephants. Our minds are turned into habits of mind, right? And so when these things happen, then they become big elephants, two elephants. One is the body, other one is the mind. These two, they are so strong that they won't listen to you just because you have made a resolution. You want to get up in the morning, 5 o'clock you get up, the body will say, oh, I'm too tired, I don't want to be here, right? And they go away. So those kind of things are there all the time. So your habits are the elephants. Your willpower is the tiny handler trying to show commands without having done the trying. This metaphor that reveals something profound. The size of the elephant, your deeply conditioned patterns, isn't the problem. The quality of the training is what matters. And training happens through gentle, consistent repetition, not through force or violent struggle. Okay? So, how condition actually forms? First of all, a trigger in your environment or emotional state, right? And then the routine, the automatic behavior that follows the cue, and the payoff that reinforces the loop. So this is kind of a loop all the time, the cue, routine, and the reward. So key principles here are these loops run automatically beneath your conscious awareness. That is the loop that you want to identify, right? So your environment designs behavior more powerfully than intention. That is the thing, under stress, your default is the most practical pattern. You go and do that. You have an urge to smoke and you have established the pattern, and that urge takes over. And you are not weak or you are not really inferior. It's just that a habit is much more than your intention is. So, what you do is identify what is the repetition. I am the kind of person who will do those kind of things you identify. So the common examples are late night snacking after a stressful day. Don't snack, we tell them. Don't eat late that they eat. And then suppose you want to scroll social media when you feel bored. Okay, don't know how to do with you, and then you kind of mindlessly scroll the social media. And then whatever that comes and influences you, that takes over you. So skipping the movement in the morning routine is disrupted. Okay, you don't want to move, you don't want to be active with the body. Okay, and reaching for comfort food when you are emotionally upset. These are all the common examples that really unconsciously bred by the family or you. And you see, the brain is efficient. It conserves energy by automating whatever you do repeatedly by habit. It doesn't want to invent everything. So this is a brilliant design in the patterns to serve you. It becomes a challenge when they don't serve you. Okay, if the smoking is a habit that repeated becomes very strong, but that is not serving you. That's taking away your health, right? That's the problem. But otherwise, really forms a challenge that you have to overcome. So let's this. I'm going to put you into 7 reasons that resolutions actually fail. First one is too big, too big. Get healthy or exercise more. They're very vague statements and very big. Healthy means you have to be healthy about food, about your sleep, about your rest, about your activity, about your mind calmness, and all. And they are too big and too vague resolutions you cannot have. Suppose you say, I want to be healthy by reducing 20 pounds in about 6 months. That is specific. That is something that you want to achieve, and then you can do that slowly. So don't be too big or too vague. Do what you can do and then advance. Okay, this all or nothing thinking. Okay, one missed day feels like total failure, and that triggers abandonment of the new change, new behavior you want to do. So don't have like a all or nothing. Go slowly, allow your body and mind grow into the habit slowly and retrain slowly. And then if you don't have a daily routine, that's the third one. No daily system, just a wish or intention without a repeatable structure. Like we do the morning routine that we want to do so that we can go and really, be that. Okay. That's the thing that we want to see. Right? So, too big, too vague intention, and then thinking all the time either I do everything or nothing, or not having a daily routines that you could do. Okay. And then whenever you have the friction, if the friction is ignored, then the environment stays the same. Nothing is made easier. But understand this friction, why that is. And then stress unaddressed. You feel your nervous ruins the show when you are depleted. So don't underestimate, and suppose you are stressed, develop a simple thing like a deep breathing or really repeating a statement that motivates you, something like that. Okay. And then if your foundation, your sleep and food and movement, they are not stabilized first, that is unstable, nothing is going to be accomplished. So don't make it too big, too big goals. Don't assume all or nothing principle, or don't have any daily system. That's the problem. And then if you have friction, don't ignore it. And if you're stressed, don't uh, don't ignore it. Address that too. And then foundation, body, mind, and also the movement and sleep. They are very important. At least do the fundamental pillars of wellness every day. You see? And then the biggest one, the seventh one is no awareness practice. Say habits stay unconscious. You can't retain what you cannot see. People are unconscious about the habits they develop, right? So come back and be conscious, be aware of whatever is going on a moment to moment basis. And slowly you will have a current of awareness, not the current of thoughts, current of awareness, knowing what is happening here and now. That's very important. Okay. Take a moment with these 7 which resonate with you. And what is your experience? Did you make too big a goal? Or did you think if you failed one time, you failed the whole, or you don't have a daily system and you are ignoring your own friction within you and your own stress within you, and you don't have a foundation stable, and then you never thought about awareness being put in front of the thoughts, because you are aware of the thoughts, right? Thoughts are not aware of you. You are aware of the thought. That means awareness is ahead of your thoughts. So have the awareness practice where you are coming here and now and being aware of what's going on. That becomes a current of awareness, and in that awareness you will identify when you are deviating from whatever you have done. Okay, so those things are important for you. Okay, so willpower versus awareness, these are two different approaches. When you have willpower, that's a force. So I, that works in short and intense bursts that fights directly against craving or urges. Often it triggers inner rebellion and resistance, of course, right? And breaks down with the stress and fatigue. This willpower breaks down. And it creates a battle between what I should be doing and what I am wanting, lots of times. So it's exhausting, feels exhausting and unsustainable. Whereas if you are aware, if you are training, builds through steady, gentle attention. Small goal, achieve it and go to the next one. That is the way you are aware of things are progressing, but you are not fighting against the goal you have established and you feel depressed about it. Now, okay, it observes urges. If you have urges, unconscious urges, and forcible compulsions, when you are aware of them, you are observing them. You are not yielding to them. You know, you are not really automatically obeying them. You are observing them. So you created a gap between that, and then gradually it kind of retrains the nervous system, forms a new pathways for you. Okay, and actually it is strong and strength under the stress. You are not yielded to the stress. You are observing the stress. You are apart from the stress. You are aware of the stressful things. And then it creates space between the triggers of the stress and your response. You are not reacting automatically. You are considering that and then respond. That's why so important not to react right away, but to engage our prefrontal cortex and respond with a deeper wisdom. So this is sustainable and compassionate down the line. Okay, you are easy on yourself, and then you are really taking into account. Okay, this is what I'm doing. Let me build on that. Okay, so the my proactive wellness is all about this behavior change through awareness and alignment, but not through self-violence. Okay, this distinction is foundational to everything we teach. We don't fight the mind or battle our conditioning. We understand it, see it clearly and gently retrain it the way you would work with that elephant, not against it, because that habit is very big, like an elephant. Okay? So retraining has four-step method. Observe this, do this. I'm sure you will not go through that failure of your resolution. See the pattern. See, once you name the habit or trigger without, shame or judgment, anything habit, triggers, or anything that comes up, you can name it without feeling you or should be ashamed or you're judging yourself. Simply observe it. I notice I reach my phone when I feel anxious. That's a habit that you do, and you notice it and you repeat that. Then what happens is you will stack the you'll stack to existing habit, anchor the new behavior to something you already do daily. Okay, this creates automatic queuing, and that shrinks the change. When you are naming it is so small, it feels almost too easy. After brushing my teeth, I'll take the three deep breaths. Simple change. Whatever change you want, shrink it small and then repeat that again. Repeat daily. See, practice consistently until it becomes your new default. You are noticing the old thing coming in, but then you are enforcing the new one. So the new tree training overwhelms the old training. Usually it takes 3 to 8 weeks for simple behaviors. And if you can do that with a daily routine every day, then small is not weak. Small is something that you can sustain. Small is sustainable. Remember that. And then small changes. I tell my patients, Small changes, but permanent changes. So examples are after the morning tea, walk for 5 minutes. Simple thing. After lunch, sit quietly for 60 seconds. After dinner, write one line in a gratitude journal, something like that, small. These micro actions, which I have suggested many to the people according to what they do, what their work patterns, what their daily lifestyles, and all that. But they're easily implementable, seeable for everybody according to their patterns. So these micro actions, they build your neural pathways without triggering resistance. Okay, if you do all of a sudden too big a one, then it will do that. So I'm going to suggest a 7 day retraining plan. Then do that and see whether it works for you or not. If you have problems, going through resolutions, okay. Day one, choose one micro habit. Micro habits, right? Small ones. Okay. Pick something tiny, like a 2 to 5 minutes that you can do today. Not meditation for 30 minutes. Sit quietly for 2 minutes. Just do that first. Then second day, anchor it to a cue. That is something that you want to do. Link it to something you already do. After I pour my cup, I will do 3 stretches, for example. So whatever you are doing, you can just put it there. Okay. And the day three, if you notice friction points, remove one friction point. So you can prepare the night before, lay out your mat, set out your journal, and prepare your healthy snack. I used to lay out my yoga mat on by the side of my bed, so that in the morning when I see it immediately, I go into the yoga stretches. Okay, something like that. And then day four, tell a friend or add one support. Okay, somebody set a phone reminder or join a community. Whoever supporting your consistent change that you want, support makes this consistency easier. Okay, so recruit your people who are sympathetic to you, to your change and all that. Now, day five, so practice under mild stress. Before you're doing it deliberately, consciously, now under mild stress. That means uh, keep the habit tiny, but training matters most is when your day gets busier, keep the habit there. Don't let it be immersed by the busyness of the life. Then, day six, you celebrate your consistency. You have been consistent under stress, with support, with friction points noted, and also anchoring to something you do. Right? Now, you celebrate that consistency on day six. Notice that you showed up. No, intensity doesn't matter. Repetition does. How small you do one day, maybe you do better on the other. That's fine. And the day seven is you review and refine. Okay. So if you can do this 7 day pattern, then you can change the micro habit, change the old habit slowly, and then you will end up retraining yourself to a new habit which will be there. And then you are noticing it. What I did today, I'm doing. So treat this like a training, not judgment on you. Okay. Consider keeping a simple journal, just 2 lines each evening. What did I do today and what I noticed? Then you will learn a lot about it. This is called swadhyaya, self knowledge about yourself. Okay. So from resolution to within revolution, resolution to revolution within is don't fight your conditioning. See it, be aware of it clearly. This is what I developed the habit into this big elephant. Don't demand perfection from yourself. Okay? Train consistently. That is the consistently small, so that is good enough. Okay? And then don't depend on willpower. Build a daily rhythm. Don't have to motivate from within yourself, break up your willpower and do something. That is violence. But building up a daily rhythm that is comfortable, convenient for your two elephants of body and mind, easier for you to go through. So when the inner elephant lands, outer life follows. So realize within, radiate it outward, and help the restoring the earth and yourself. Humanity thrives on one breathing family at a time. Okay. So I hope you got the essence of what I was trying to tell you, and you absorbed what I'm talking about. And if you have any questions, DM me or come up and ask me here, and I'll be happy to, uh, you know, go through what your system is and see what I can help you with there. Okay. There are 80 people on the um, Noom Vibe, so anybody can come up if you want to. It's good if you are able to resolute something and are able to achieve that. That's a very good thing. But many people have made the decisions and they failed, and then they carried a character flaw later on. Oh, I don't achieve anything. I just think about it. I make a resolution, then I fail. Then they lose their own confidence, their own image about themselves, and all those problems. Okay, but really have to transcend yourself. That is a deep spiritual practice. That's all okay. But we are talking about how can we maintain our wellness by cultivating some habits that are wellness prone, wellness and enhancement, and make you live longer and in a joyful way. So it's a very simple thing that way. But if you are a really spiritual quest and spiritual person, these things do not matter at all, because you will be living away from the world, but in the world without getting touched by the world. Like you're traveling the world of river, and you're taking your boat and going so that you don't have to get immersed with the water, and the water won't come into the boat and immerse you. So you kind of know the world, you kind of uh, go through the world like you're piecing with the boat, right? Anybody has any questions or any? Janet, you want to come up? Janet did achieve a lot of things by consistently practicing and making it easier. Initially, she used to go against her body, against the wishes, but then once she listened to the body and was able to understand, she was able to do that, right? So Laura is coming up. Let's see. Hi, Laura.
Dr. Rao, good morning.
Good morning.
I thought I heard you call my name. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, so I'm definitely agreeing with what you were talking about, smaller
Yeah,
changes that bring big results in the end.
yeah,
And it's the only thing that ever helped me
yeah,
achieve certain goals that were related to my
like that.
healthier weight and healthier habits and
Yeah,
all of that.
yeah,
So every year when I was uh, doing resolutions in the past, and I would say I'm going to lose 40 pounds this year.
mm,
You know, that hardly ever happened.
yeah,
And when I just set a tiny goals, just one or two, and
yeah,
clearly expressed, and
yeah,
just focusing on the processes, like move my body, like take the stairs
yeah,
in instead of the elevator,
yeah.
or add something,
Yeah,
add
something smaller.
healthy
Yeah,
food
yeah,
with every meal. Like right now, I
mm,
just wanted to eat cereal and milk,
yeah,
and it's not my favorite cereal because it has no sugar in it.
mm,
But that's okay
yeah,
because that's a healthy choice. And also I wanted to make sure I get some fruit in or vegetable. So I cut an orange. I didn't necessarily feel like orange right now, but I'm eating orange because
taste
part of
is
the
something.
process.
Taste is something. If you can refrain from the sugar for 14 days, you won't crave it. 14 days you are eating without sugar, then you don't miss the sugar. Your taste buds have changed, So that's what it is.
Yes. And I'll tell you, I'm not nearly craving sugar as I used to, and the Munjaro helps with that a lot.
Yeah. It's a question of conditioning,
I'm
Laura.
finally, I feel like I'm finally feeling what it's like to be normal, to not have your brain addicted to sugar.
Yeah, that is,
And it's great. Like I cannot begin to tell you how freeing that feels to see sugary stuff and not even want it, let alone having to fight
it's
the
a big deal.
temptation 80% of the time,
Yeah.
For every piece of sugary stuff I would grab, I would fight to death 80, 9 others to not put them into my body. So it's crazy, but it's good. And it's the small ever increasing habits. Once I get the one little habit um, under my belt, then I can always increase it. But going with the big intentional changes that never produce lasting sustainable. You also use sustainable word. These are the changes that I'm making that are sustainable now. And it's just little. And if I can't eat a whole orange, I'll eat a half an orange or a quarter, but at least I'm getting into the habit of adding something healthy to my breakfast. So that's the kind of not resolutions, but tiny habits that I'm working on, and just 1 or 2, not 100 like I used to. That's another reason why I would fail. I would have like 15 resolutions. And it never occurred to me, hey, for a week you might be out because you have, either the flu or a family member is in the hospital, or then or something at your job. There's always like things that come up, and I would have never considered that. So something small that is so small.
What happened to Laura? Go ahead, Laura.
And so small that that is let me think. There was one more. I can do it on my worst day. People might laugh at, but I laugh in the end. And there was one more thing that was important, but might come back to me. I'll let you know. But so small that that I can't say no to.
Yeah, that's it. It's a conditioning problem, and then once you understand that, it is so much easier for you to recondition yourself, basically. But all the time being aware is not reconditioning habit. It's more like getting into. Peter, what happened? It kind of got to try it again, Peter. Yeah, so I was trying to get him in, and then so it's a reward it, not like a willpower, not by resolution, but say, I'm going to change my conditioning that I allowed myself to grow into. Let me recondition it. What do you think, Peter?
I think it sounds good to me. Namaste, Dr. Rao.
Namaste.
As I was listening to your talk, I think about New Year's resolutions, and I don't make them.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very important discussion to have, right? We seem to have it every year with ourselves. Should we not?
Yeah.
What happened in the past, and so on and so forth. But, I find that for me, my greatest accomplishment for me is to realize who I really am, right? And realize the realization that I am not my thoughts, because that's all I thought I was. I didn't know any different. I didn't know there was anything possible beyond my thoughts, because what do you mean I'm not my thoughts? What the hell is that? That's crazy talk. But it's not, right? And it's such a beautiful revelation, right, in my life. And I'm able to live life today like that. And I always hear your voice talking about taking my life and my thoughts and in the situations in my life equinously, equally, the good and the bad. You take them with equal weight, if you will. That's really helped me because I find that I can stay in a state of joy, whether something so-called bad is going on or so-called good.
That's it.
Either way, it's not, my joy is not dependent on the situations and circumstances.
Yeah, non-causal joy. Yeah.
It's a state of my being, which is where joy resides, right?
Yes.
And I can tap into that at any time. And along with that joy, its close cousin is peace.
Yes.
And it's such a delicious way to live. And I don't always live that way, but I know what it is.
I know why you don't live all that way also, Peter. Not in judgment or anything. It's a kind of human condition that we are all in. And some are fortunate to get out of it, like you do sometimes, and you kind of pulled in by the other exterior circumstances without you knowing. That
People
is
usually.
That's it. Because it's a kind of, they don't know that they are being in the thought pattern only, and they are expressing their thoughts. Yesterday also, somebody told Melissa, she was saying that through thought she's going to have awareness. No, awareness is first. You're already that. You are awareness. See, in that your thoughts are happening, and you are realizing that awareness is without movement of thought. That's why the peace and joy.
Right.
And then use the thought.
Between the thoughts.
Yeah, and then you can use the thought for practical purposes. Okay, but don't be sucked in by the thoughts in the world, and then establish yourself in the thought world and think everything else is secondary to it.
Yeah. And I even think about the so-called like positive thoughts, like that ends up, they still repeat, and even the positive thoughts can go wild, right? And then next thing you know, I'm daydreaming and castle building, and I get snapped back into so-called reality. And it's just, it's either way, thought just does what thought does.
There is another danger with the positive thinking only as the thinking, because that itself creates a role that is not you. That's your shadow, and that's, they get caught up in that, and then they lose the fragrance of this awareness, which is always ever renewing, ever new. So it is not having that still strength of that smell of stagnation. It's a perfume that comes out of constant evolution, new.
Beautifully said.
Every movement is like that, right? So that's the movement to movement awareness is, where something completely gone, because that's the life. As I'm talking to you, my words a couple of seconds ago are gone. And then what my kind of attention I'm paying to Peter, am I listening to what he's saying, or am I judging? All those things are there. But when I'm just being with this moment, I'm just listening to you.
Yes. Yeah.
And that itself is, I don't need to be anybody just to listen. Just shut up your mind and pay attention.
It's such a deeper human interaction.
Yes.
When we're able to do that, and I've learned that from you, and I've learned that, and I'm better for it.
Look at your dog, Peter. Your dog. Yeah. You kind of pay attention to it from your being.
Yeah.
You don't think, oh, my dog should be this way and I'm going to love him. No, because he loves you like that. Right? And then what happens? You will always be coming back to it. Right? So it's a question of being in the moment and really living it without being in the thought now. Hi, Heather. How are you? Heather, are you there? I can't hear you. I think, Heather, are you there? Maybe you muted yourself or something.
Yes.
There you are.
I'm sorry, I had my volume down real low a while ago, listening to whatever you're saying, and I was trying to do some laundry and the morning routines I always have to do.
Yeah.
So, what are y'all talking about?
Well, we are talking about new resolutions and how to identify as a conditioning factor and then retrain yourself slowly, small.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm not. I took my coworkers are taking a break from work. We don't go back till January the 5th. We've been off since Christmas, but our morning routine is we do yoga every morning on Tuesday from 6. I think it's from like 6:30 to 7 a.m. But we've been there, and we exercise and clean, and well, it's just a fun time to get everybody together who wants to do yoga in the mornings. It's for everybody who wants to. Some are not early birds, some are late birds. So they have yoga afternoon and morning. So that's what we do. And I try to eat healthy too because I have food allergies go on. I have immune system disease. I used to be a mimic, but not anymore. I'm allergic to blueberry, raspberry, peaches, and I'm gluten free. I can have I can have a little bit of flour, but I get migraines and headaches, and I get bloated. And I've been tested for food allergies, and I talked to my doctor about it. And he said to watch everything on a food pyramid, not because of the calorie wise. I eat healthy. I'm on the borderline of being diabetic, but have low blood sugar. Got to keep it up.
Do you make New Year resolutions?
Yes, yes. I talked to my doctor about that. Okay, and don't worry, he knows about it. So he's told me to watch everything, not because of calorie wise. It's just you could have too much of this, too much of that, too much of this, too much of that. I told him what I'm supposed to eat, cardboard. He started laughing. No, we don't have to eat cardboard. It's just you have to watch what you eat because you have inflammatory, it will flame up if you eat too much of wheat products. Any product, it will flare up really bad.
See, this is what I'm talking about because many people, as patients, come to me with the resolutions and they fail. So I'm trying to give them why they fail, how to come out of that failure and achieve things slowly and steadily. Like Laura was saying, small habits, but permanent habits. Small.
It's just frustrating to go to the store every day and you burn out on eating what you cannot eat whatever you want. I tell them I wish I could eat whatever I want to eat, but I can't because it flames up, it flares up, and it's just frustrating. It's very frustrating all the time.
Yeah, that's the problem. Because a lot of people want to change.
It is, and it's frustrating, and you just don't want to go to the store anymore because you cannot eat whatever you want to eat, and it's just frustrating.
See, what I found in America, living in here since '81. People think a lot, but these things they require you got to understand you are unconsciously develop these habits, change them consciously, small bit at a time.
It is.
Yeah,
it's
just, that's why I developed a 7-day program, and which I described here, and you can go back and listen to it and pick up those steps. They are very simple steps, actually.
It is. You take baby steps one at a time.
Yeah. And then you can be doing much better. Yes. And I want to help people to realize their resolutions, whatever they want to.
It is. It took a while to learn everything.
It does.
Well, you have a good day and everything.
You too.
Thank you, Rocco. I live in Texas, so hope you have a good day, good morning, whenever you are.
Thank you, Heather.
You have a good one.
Yeah.
Bye.
It's a question of everybody knows that there are small changes, but then being on them without getting caught up with so much of thinking is an important thing in modern life. Thinking is a wonderful instrument, but it can overwhelm us. It can take over, and then we will be going by the pathways that we formed in the brain and giving them a lot of importance. See, that is what we don't want to allow it to. See, understanding that we are forming the default neural network by us being unaware and unconscious about so many things and getting into habits and then teaching the habits to the body and mind. and not really living in the present, but living in that thought world, So once you realize that you can also change that too. It requires a little bit more effort, more support. That's why I kind of listed those steps. If you have any doubts about them, DM me and I'll help you to um, go through the clarity of that. And then once you get the clarity, once you understand how it is to be done, I think if you achieve a small habit to be changed into the correct good habit that you want, you gain psychological confidence and reserve. And that works for you for your inner resilience. Okay. That is what we try to develop with people not lacking that resilience, and they are kind of crushed by the weight of the life's events, right? So all that depends upon human being realizing this strong inner self, So thank you, and thank you everybody. And anybody else has anything else to say, you can come up. Otherwise, we will um, rest on this understanding that the resolution failure is because of our conditioning. Okay, and we are conditioned ourselves by being unconscious about habits for a long time, and they have their own inner neurological pathways. They try to take over us. So to overcome that, be aware of it, be in that awareness, and then cultivate something that you want to do slowly, steadily, and allow that habit to develop such a way that will really the conditioning factors much better. Okay, anything is like that. So mainly people don't live in the present. They don't live in the awareness. They live in the thought world. They live in something that is not really real. Something in the past or in the future, they are not really real here and now, right? Hi, Janet. So somebody, even Janet was cultivating those habits that unconsciously, and then she got out of the chair and began to walk, and now she's walking like a 2,000 feet. That's wonderful. So it's kind of listening to that body and really not succumbing to the giants that we may have created, and then slowly that giant retrained, and that becomes our asset, right? So lot of our new year resolutions are because of that. They were sleeping, they didn't wake up to that, and now we wake up. Now you want to change, then you understand what is involved in that. So that's what I was trying to present it there. Okay. I was wondering about Melissa. Maybe she's busy, but she wanted specific questions answered for her change that she was going through. Um, Maybe she is busy with her school, working probably. No, I will talk to her personally then. No, Melissa is here. So hopefully, I will repeat those 7 steps, 7 day, one more time before we close it. Day one, choose one micro habit. Okay, anything that you want to change, but one micro habit, not the big one. Okay, and among the big ones, so break it into small steps and choose one step, right? And then day two, anchor that small step to a cue. You do this, you do that. Clustering technique, I call it. Okay, that is very easier. Okay, day three, you will find that as you are trying to execute this, you'll find friction points. Remove one friction point that you have. Okay, so maybe you want to write it on the journal or prepare your healthy snack, whatever. Right? That's the day three. And day four is, so you chose a micro point and then micro habit, then you attach it to a cue that you can associate it with, that you every time you do that, you remember this. Then in process of that, you'll find some friction points. At least remove one friction point on day 3. And day 4, add some support, any support that you have or you create, a friend or somebody like me or anybody, right? And then day 5 is you want to practice your micro habit that you have used to removing the friction and then cues and all that. Now do it in mild stress. So even though you don't want to do it, you are fighting it at the time you do it. Okay. Then the day 6 comes, you celebrate up until then what your consistency that you brought in. Okay. So, and then finally, you review and refine the whole thing on the day 7. So starting with one micro habit, anchoring it to a cue, and removing one friction point as you are trying to execute, and then adding some support to it, and doing it under mild stress, and then celebrating the whole thing, and then reviewing and refining it every week. If you can consistently do this, what I call 7-day retraining plan. Okay, if you can do this, and within a 1, 2, 3 weeks, you will find out so many things are gone, and then you're automatically doing what you want to do. But now you are aware and doing it. You are not sleeping and doing it. Okay, so with that, we have still 7 minutes before 10 o'clock. So if you want to come up, this is the last chance. I will see you again tomorrow morning with our New Year Day special yoga session on the morning routine. I will probably give you more explanation of the deeper meaning of the morning routine, why it is integrated yoga practice. 5 yogas are there, and how you can take advantage of that understanding and bring in that balance, the equanimity in your work and life. Okay, so thank you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye bye. It is a members చదివాను వీళ్ళందరికీ నేను ఇది కూడా పంపించాను, రాలే ఎవరు. ఇది మొన్న ఏమైందో మరి. ఎందుకు రాలేదు ఇది? అంటే మనది నీకు కూడా రాలేదా ఇది? మన ఎందుకు రాలేదు మరి? అదే ఎవరు రాదా, పీటర్ వచ్చాడు మళ్ళీ వెళ్ళిపోయాడు, తను డ్రాప్ అయింది మేము బస్. చూద్దాం లేదు తర్వాత. అంత కరెక్ట్ పెట్టుకోవాలి జూమ్ అంతా.